Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.
I just don't see functionally how that wouldn't work.
So business idea.
Yeah, we
you
have a humidifier.
No. You have a
Okay.
you have a dehumidifier. It's a stack.
Okay.
You have a dehumidifier on top. It's sucking all the moisture out of the air, right? And then via gravity, that water then flows through a turbine, which generates electricity, into a humidifier.
You're saying this like it was your idea. I just came up with this idea.
I'm saying it better.
Okay.
Which flows into a humidifier, which then goes back into the air, and both of these are plugged into the electricity generating turbine.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
So as long as you like stay ahead of it.
Welcome to the podcast that is good business ideas with Tyler and Willows.
Pretty much though, right?
I'm
It's called Alcohol Beyond This Point. It's
gonna hedge
our
on that one.
alcohol ramblings, where we debate business topics, both sober and then drunk, to see if we come to the same conclusion. This is episode 51.
Wow, it's
Um,
almost as many as there are states in the America.
That's almost how many ex-wives I have.
That's really impressive.
I wish it was that impressive.
So if you're paying alimony and you get remarried, and I'm assuming you continue to pay alimony.
Until they get remarried, the person you're paying to.
Is it?
Yeah.
But so what if they never get remarried, but you
Means
get remarried,
it doesn't
and now
matter.
your household income
Yeah.
is what gets calculated for alimony?
Yeah.
So your new wife is paying your ex-wife?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And then if you get a divorce again,
You have double alimony.
it's like a Ponzi scheme, but
But
in
why?
reverse. It's like a Ponzi scheme of attrition in reverse.
Yeah, I saw a screenshot of like someone's pay stub, and it was like net pay and then taxes and then garnished wages, child support, garnished wages, child support, garnished wages, child support.
Yeah.
Like 3 different children.
Yeah. Oops.
Also, if they're garnishing the wages immediately, that means like he wasn't paying it.
Yeah, that was garnished wages means court case or court ordered collection.
And they take it right off your wage, so you can't not pay it, because when you earn money, they just take it.
The only way you can get around that is if you work off under the table.
Yeah, work for cash, or do what I do and pay all my employees in cryptocurrency.
Hello, CRA. Is that you at the door?
What? I have never committed I have never been convicted of tax fraud in my life.
Nice. Good save. Almost had you there.
Alcohol Beyond This Point LLC does not condone.
Taxes.
You know what? When we incorporate this business,
Mhm.
the podcast, we should call it Alcohol Beyond This Point LLC, even though we don't have limited liability companies in Canada.
Will they even let you?
Maybe. I don't know.
They might not let you.
I know there's a ton of words you can't put in your
That might be one of them.
incorporation. You can't put the name of the city that you're incorporating in at the beginning of your incorporation,
Okay.
because people might interpret it as being a government organization.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you put it at the end.
Yeah. Or so. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. There was a couple other ones. You can't use the word royal anywhere in your name unless you've been blessed by the queen or the monarch at the time.
Yeah. Which is going to be the queen.
Which, yeah. Well, might be dead,
1,000.
She might be dead.
Is she?
She's, she got sick,
Yeah.
and then now she's in she's taking time off, quote, quote,
Yeah.
and she might not be seen in public for another 6 months or something.
Oh.
That's just, they're getting the body double ready or whatever, right?
Hmm.
She's like 97, right? Like,
Why would they need a body double? Like, just
No, like, I don't know.
just let it go.
No, she's like growing the lizard skin back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Prince Philip was in Barbados, getting cucked by Freedom.
Isn't he dead?
Prince Philip?
Yeah, the guy I have on my wall in my bathroom. He's been dead for like 2 years.
Who the fuck made this speech at the Barbados, like, ceremony for independence.
What do I look like? A Barbadian library
this is like
owner?
Headline news like yesterday.
I don't know, man.
Oh, okay. Distract the audience. I need to know.
So, have you ever wanted to go into the movie theater but not wear any pants?
Yes.
Now, introducing pantsless seats where they cover your dick so people can't see, but you are indeed not wearing pants.
You're doing great. Keep going.
Okay. And for an additional, if you purchase now with 19 easy payments of $26.95, we will throw in a pickaxe that digs.
Prince Charles. That's who did it. Whew.
Wow,
I thought there was a glitch in the Matrix there for a hot second.
He was doing a speech yesterday, but he died.
Yeah.
You know what's
No, like I just heard this like 2 years ago, but I just glitched into now.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
That could happen.
You know what I found interesting? You know that fucking guy ran into a I shouldn't laugh, but it was like the Ohio dancing grannies. He drove into a crowd and killed like 6 people and injured like 40.
Yeah, it was a parade
a few weeks ago. Yeah, with the Ohio dancing grannies.
Was it Ohio?
I don't know, whatever. But he that has been suspiciously left out of the news cycle. I haven't heard fucking anything about that.
I think it was just not very like it's just fucking depressing. A guy beat his wife and then ran over a bunch of parade goers. Like there was there was nothing political.
He was out on bail.
Yeah.
For hitting his wife with a car.
Yeah.
And he was in jail like 6 years ago for hitting a different person with a car. This is like his MO.
This guy's got a kink.
This is a thing, yeah.
He's got a car kink.
Interesting, though. Yeah, well, and apparently he was released on bail. They set like $100,000 bail because the judge was like, he's a flight risk and he's a fucking risk to other people.
Yeah.
And then they like, his lawyer, whomever, requested like a right to a speedy trial, which wasn't being able to fulfilled, so they had to let him go. And then he immediately ran through a parade.
Bet that lawyer feels awesome.
Hey, he did the job, right?
He's doing his job, but that doesn't matter when you're rationalizing.
This is why we shouldn't let people out on bail.
This is why we shouldn't have lawyers.
Yeah. Just judge, jury, executioner, all one person.
Represent yourself.
Saves fucking time.
Yeah. They should have executed him.
They should have executed with a car. If we're being honest.
Like punishes like.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, isn't that that's like an Egyptian thing, like ancient Egyptian.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Like
you steal a candy, they chop your hand off. That's
that's
proportionate.
Not modern day Egypt. I meant like Moses Egypt.
Probably the same thing though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think it was like
they didn't get more brutal over time.
You'd be surprised.
I probably would be surprised. I was listening to the new Rogan episode on the way here, and the last thing before I got out of my van was them talking about how ISIS destroyed these 5,000-year-old plus statues of bulls that was uncovered in Mosul, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they just were fucking destroying these things. Maybe they're more than 10,000 years old, like ancient history, and they bulldozed the site and then destroyed it with sledgehammers.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
And people are like, where's the evidence of this society? It's like, well, that shit happens all the time.
Well, so you know how ISIS is destroying statues and that's like a crime against it is, fun fact, I don't want to say Nuremberg. I think that's just in my head because of the anti-vax thing.
Yeah.
But it's a war crime to destroy
historic
any
artifacts.
Well doing a war.
Yeah.
Doing a war.
I love doing wars.
So ISIS does that kind of shit. But that's exactly what these liberals are doing.
Yeah.
When they take down our Confederate flag or our Confederate statues.
100%.
Literally. It's exactly the same.
Yep.
These goddamn liberals, they should join ISIS.
And Confederate statues.
What I'm saying is, basically, ISIS is liberals.
Yeah, they're spicy liberals.
And Joe Biden is Muhammad Ali.
Yep. Yeah, you're nailing it.
The leader of ISIS.
Yep.
That was
The one that.
that was problematic.
Oh wait, yeah. Shoot.
Doesn't Muhammad just mean God? I think, or great.
I don't know.
I think it means great. I know that Akbar means great because there was a.
Because Allah Akbar is like God is great.
Yeah, but there was a 11th century Indian king named Akbar the Great,
Okay.
and it was literally the Great.
I mean, he had to let you know.
Right?
It's like the what's that syndrome?
Oh, from The Incredibles?
No, it's like the bad. It's like it's an ironic syndrome where it's like, it ends with S, and the S stands for syndrome, and then you say that syndrome. It's like saying ATM machine. It's like automatic. What does T stand for?
Teller.
Yeah, automatic teller machine.
Well, it's like
Or PIN number, PIN number, person identification number. The syndrome is like a syndrome. It's I just think that's great.
DC Comics is
Right.
like District Comics.
Yeah,
There's a couple other ones.
brilliance.
I think that's a little nice idiosyncrasy of the human condition.
You know what? That really grinds my gears. I think that's the problem with everything.
What, that we should change if there's a letter that stands for the thing that we are also saying, then that's the problem with
No,
everything?
I think idiosyncrasy is the idea of uniqueness.
You think we should all just be gray blobs?
Yeah, please face wall.
Yeah, well, go take your vaccine, and then you're pretty much there.
Oh, right, I forgot. When I took my vaccine, I turned into, a boring white guy? Fuck.
Anyway, welcome back to the Boring White Person podcast.
So, I don't think we're going to be able to go to Mexico, bud.
I don't think you're smart.
So, you know how when they drop new restrictions, they, kind of flirt with it, and then they actually drop it, a week or two later?
Stephenson just said they're not making more restrictions.
Today,
Yes, today.
U.S. said they're talking about not new restrictions, but any international travel, regardless of the origin or flight of origin, they're going to have isolation, or sorry, a 7-day quarantine period upon returning, and you need whether you're vaccinated or not, you need a PCR test to get on the plane, and then you need another PCR test during the quarantine, and even if you test negative, you have to wait out the 7 days. So that's probably going to drop in the next week or two, and that's Canada's likely to follow.
Well, let's ride that horse when we get to that pasture. Like that one?
Yeah. I think it's very likely, because people are fucking idiots.
True. Why is Omicron ruining my summer?
Omicron is daddy, and
We're never getting out of this, are we?
no. Well, what do you mean never getting out of this? We're doing everything wrong. Why do you think we would not get out of this?
I don't know, man. I just want my business to be back to normal.
I am simultaneously in the camp of they're just doing business as usual dealing with a pandemic, and also this is completely overblown panic, because initial studies, extremely small sample sizes, mind you, they're saying vaccines are totally effective against it, no change, but also it's probably more transmissible, but also might be more mild, but also might overtake Delta, but also might not. It's completely convoluted, right? There's not enough data, but just based on the genomic sequencing, they're making a bunch of assumptions about it. But hey, what they aren't saying between the lines, this is actually something that I thought of today, is they're saying seems to be taking over Delta as the dominant strain, it's more transmissible, but it also seems to be more mild.
So, in theory, it should make things better.
Correct, because Delta's bad. So if it
Yeah.
takes over, if this variant takes over, and runs Delta out of town, however that fucking works.
Well, 95% of cases are Delta now.
Right. So if it overtakes Delta but is far more mild,
Yeah.
we say, fuck the lockdowns, this is a flu.
Yeah.
Because if 18 out of 18 cases are mild or not asymptomatic.
Do you expect Canada's government to just let people go about their lawful business?
They're going to have to.
Well, we keep saying that, but it's been 2 years and they're still not.
It's not that long, though.
Like, I guess, but like it is, though.
No, I think the fatigue of people being in lockdowns is just increasing. And one bright spot is if anyone's going to reject the lockdowns vigorously, it's the first group is going to be the fucking cops. And
yeah, but like it's like my problem is this, like, we're not fully back to normal, but we're not under lockdown.
yeah,
So like my business is suffering immensely.
Yeah,
because people don't want to
yeah.
like go out to the bar, but because they're technically allowed to with restrictions,
Yeah.
then I don't get any government
Subsidy,
welfare because you're not locked down.
yeah,
But meanwhile, my business isn't like back up to being self-sustaining,
right.
right? So it's like I'm in a really tough position. And so
Yeah.
are a lot of other business owners, I'm sure, listening.
Yeah, something like 30% of small businesses in New Jersey have closed.
yeah, and yeah, it
Like
sucks.
in the hospitality industry, I'll clarify. It fucking sucks. I'm not saying it doesn't suck, but I am saying that I don't think that the government can exert this level of power for a super long time, because all it's going to take is people get sick of it enough. I mean, fucking 2024 election wings around and Trump's like, end of all lockdowns forever, and I will fucking sanction anyone who has lockdowns, gets elected, does that on day 3.
Yeah.
Maybe it's over. like that kind of shit can happen, right? Like I hate to say it, but sometimes democracy works, but also I just don't think that the government has the ability to do that without completely fatiguing its support base.
Which they have done.
Yeah, and they're getting there, and it's been less than 2 years. Like, you do this another 2 years, the compliance is going to be completely fucking irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's going to be so low, it's going to be ineffective.
Yeah.
And they know it. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it's politically, socially feasible to pull it off for super long.
It's funny that like that's a pretty dour thought, but I'm like, I was about to say, well, I'm glad you're optimistic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But meanwhile, that's like actually kind of a fucked up thing to think about.
It's pretty fucked up, but I think it's pretty realistic. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna ease off as their I guess their clout erodes.
Yeah.
As public trust erodes, because it just will. Like, public trust in doctors and fucking scientists, like, this is the kind of thing that completely erodes people's willingness to believe in science, which
Yeah.
is hilarious to me. The idea that you can say those two words next to each other and actually mean something.
Well, I guess like it's just kind of weird. Like a lot of the people, anti-vaxxers I know, are like, oh, you're getting a 3rd shot, now you're getting a 4th shot. It's like, when does it end? Like, you know, it's like
it's medicine. Like, I take Tylenol more than once because I
Wow.
get headaches
Wow.
again.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
it's
get,
fucking science.
But
like,
but when the government's like, you can't go, you don't have full rights unless you take 2 shots. Now they're like, you don't have full rights unless you take 3 shots, and then they just keep doing that.
right, because what are their tools at this point?
What are their tools? I mean, they can fine you and arrest you, right?
Yeah, but that they can't.
They can't do that en masse, I guess.
You can't do that en masse. They don't have the manpower to just like mass arrest and fine people. Like,
Yeah.
that would really burn out public trust really fucking quick.
Well, and then did you see the chief of staff or whatever for the European Union today was like, we should think about mandatory vaccinations.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what I mean. Like, vaccines is in their toolkit now, and it was initially lockdowns, but lockdowns are really gonna stop working.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, their tool of oppression, if you will, is going to become the vaccine, because that's the only one that's fucking effective.
What do you think about mandatory vaccination? Like, we're both pro-vax, obviously.
I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't see how it could go really well.
Okay, well, let's take it on two different levels here. One, How do you think about it morally?
I don't know. On my base of personal morality, like, I don't think it's outside of what's generally accepted as laws.
I agree.
Like, I think it's within the powers of the government. Like, they subject you to worse.
I 100% agree with that. The libertarian part of me wants to go, fuck you, government. You can't force me to do anything.
Yeah.
But then I was making this argument because someone made what I just said. Someone made that argument to me. They're like, well, the government shouldn't be telling citizens what to do. And I'm like, did you pay your taxes last year? Shut the fuck up. Like, you give them 50% of your money.
Yeah.
But this is a bridge too far. Like,
Yeah,
people have such fucking...
that's the government's only function, is to, like, tell people what to do.
Yeah,
And,
well,
like,
and then
and direct capital.
and in an ideal world, keep people safe.
Right.
Which the vaccines do.
Yeah,
right?
provide security, provide social safety net, and all those things require telling people what the fuck to do.
Which they do all poorly, mostly. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's like I feel I'm conflicted because I feel like the government shouldn't tell us what to do, but then also,
Then what's the government's function?
well, I don't want the government to function. I don't want them to exist.
Well, then what do you want instead?
I don't care.
See, this is the fucking problem with libertarians and revolutionaries in general, is it usually stems from, I don't want to be told what to do. When they're successful at that, just turns into, now I'll tell you what to do. It's like every libertarian society is like, yeah, it's completely free society. You can carry a gun, but
From Rick and Morty, they all the Ricks from all the different dimensions make their own like Rick society, and then he's like, "You got so pissed off at the government, you went and formed a fucking government."
yeah,
Like-
that's what happens every time. Like that's satire. Like Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
Is the movie is meant to satirize the book because it's so fascist.
yeah,
He's like, I literally dressed them up like Nazis, and you guys didn't fucking get it.
yeah.
And people fucking love Starship Troopers. Like, it's the satire of that of these ideas, and also the what's the other novelist? He's Heinrichs. No. Anyways, he's a American sci-fi writer. So he satirizes the like libertarians making floating cities or trying to start like new island nations and stuff. Like see colonial history of white guys going to places to make sovereign nations under their libertarian rule. It just turns into like slavery. It turns into wealth extraction. It turns into just usually authoritarian government because they're like, why can't you see things my way? Please face wall. Like.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fucking work. Every time people try to create like a free and like a free society, they just reinvent government or they reinvent police. They invent a like a dictatorial state where it's like, oh, there's like no government. It just all kind of goes to, you know, maybe me.
Yeah.
And I like make decisions, but I'm a pretty good guy, so it's okay. Or it's a like Starship Troopers or like Star Wars and stuff. It's just a military-led state.
Evil empire.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like it's a military-led state that runs a society for the specific or for the specific purpose of just like plundering other societies.
Yeah.
And that's their sole function.
Well, I guess like the ideal, like when you talk about tankies, like communists that believe the only way to implement communism is to have an armed revolution.
Yeah.
When you talk about them with like what's a, you know, favorable alternative, I think it comes a lot. It's a lot of like community based, like having boards of people, right? Like
which is just reinventing government.
yeah, which is great on an which is great on an ideal level. But then like democracy always
Like local politics.
Democracy is just mob rule, right? Is 51% of the population can tell 49% of the population what to do.
Yeah. In the U.S., props to the U.S. system as it is a republic. They have a very splintered governmental system where the states actually hold a lot of power, and the president doesn't actually hold that much power. Like, when Trump signed executive orders, like most of the time they're like, okay, yeah, he signed this thing, but it actually doesn't have
When they
legs.
get blocked, right? Like
It doesn't have legs. Like it doesn't have.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, Trump signed or gave all these checks, but he just like reallocated a bunch of like forest fire money or something.
yeah.
They don't have a lot of power at the presidential level. It's rhetoric.
No one knows that though.
Right. They don't like to say that. But
Well, I think the average person just thinks the president does everything.
right. So most of the powers at the state level and at the local level, like even cities have a lot of autonomy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of baked into the states, and that's probably why they're such a successful and vibrant place, because each
Are they?
state, well, they're indisputably on top of the world in terms of like economic success and military might and
I
all
think
these
not
things.
anymore though, right? I think like the average.
Yeah, but they control currency. They
Yeah,
control sanctions. Like,
which China hates.
yeah, right. I'm not saying that there aren't other players that are, more
yeah, but like
more
average
efficient or more
average
effective.
household debt over the last like 15 years.
I'm not saying
is-
it's not a house of cards. I'm
is
just saying they're
fucked.
on top.
Yeah, well, it's a fickle mistress.
Yeah, it is a fickle mistress being the number one bitch. But I think that kind of splintered, localized politics, kind of tenuously held together by a infinitely deadlocked Senate and a president that just doesn't actually do anything.
Well,
it's like the perfect setup.
Communism doesn't work. And that's what the United States is a communist dictatorship.
Well,
Prove me wrong. It's a socialist republic, basically. Like they just take half your money and redistribute it how they see fit.
to buy guns.
A small group of 400 people
Yeah.
in the Senate take all my money and then redistribute it how they see fit.
Right.
And then they kill you if you disagree with that. It's a socialist dictatorship, basically. The fucking president they shuffle around every 8 years doesn't fucking mean a thing. And I think socialism, or communism more so, I actually do know the difference between the two, but I just equate them for lulz. Only works on small scales.
Just like most things.
But now we're just too big.
Yeah.
Like we just have too many fucking people. It's not going to work anymore. Like
Yeah.
you can't possibly
So-
how small communist groups work is that because there's only 200 of you, you can deal with everyone's problems and work with everyone. But as soon as it gets big, then now you need a representative. And then when you get bigger, now you need a representative for tens of thousands of people. And obviously, those people are going to differ in opinions. And the bigger it gets, just the more disconnected the elites get with the people. Until now, they're fucking, they make laws and decisions based on what their friends want, and they don't give a shit about their constituents.
So how do you fix this?
You don't. That's the problem. We need less people. We need 200 people. And then we're fine. We're back to square one.
I was gonna say the Earth is working on that one. Trying
Exactly.
to course correct.
Yeah, you don't fix it. And
Yeah.
and that's why I'm a very just play with the rules that are set out for you and make myself and the people I love happier, healthier, and have more opportunity. Because you can't fix it.
So play the game.
Yeah.
It's bleak.
It's
Nihilism.
yeah, I guess it's nihilism, but also
We're coming back in full circle to more enlightened levels of nihilism.
as we personally work through. Yeah.
I think we'll probably always arrive at that. I've had people ask me, if you're such a doomer, how do you get through the day? Why do you get up in the morning? And it's well, I don't know. You gotta
Well,
just keep going.
I like to think of it optimistically,
and pragmatically.
but
You gotta eat.
yeah, of course, but there's no way to fix the system, so I don't have to stress about it,
Right, it's out of your control.
so I don't have to care.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I know I guess it's bleak, but
It's bleak as hell,
dude,
yeah.
fucking existence is bleak, right?
Well, if you want to see bleak as hell, go through. I mean, we love playing this game, GeoGuessr.
Yeah.
You want to see bleak as hell? Go to Middle America, like Arkansas, rural Arkansas. It's like, I think this is South America. No, this is the States.
No, it's United States.
Yeah, it's poor as fuck.
Yeah. Remember how you're like, America's #1 just like 10 seconds ago?
Yeah, both those things can be true.
You're both
China doesn't have Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
I'm gonna say Musk is pretty much the dirtiest word you could put at the end of that, anyways.
Second Rick and Morty reference in 20 minutes. He voiced a character called Elon Tusk. And it was just Elon Musk with walrus tusks. And it was just him doing his own voice. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Elon Tusk."
Like Elon voiced the character?
Elon voiced the character,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
I don't know how that... Oh, no, because he tweeted that he liked Rick and Morty, so...
They have
Like, Justin Roiland was like, "Hey, you want to be on a show?" He's like, "Yeah."
Elon Tusk.
Elon Tusk.
That's pretty good.
Do you see? He fucking tweeted. I was laughing so hard. I
You
said
better
in the group
balance
chat.
those shots.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, fucking Elon tweeted the that famous picture Stalin had who I don't know who it was I forget now, but it was like he had him photoshopped out of the picture basically in like whenever that was 1945, 1950, whatever. There's this famous picture of him and like this guy on a bridge. They had the fucking picture doctored and the guy removed after like he pissed Stalin off. Fucking Elon tweeted that picture, but it was Jack Dorsey's face that got, and the new Twitter CEO
edited out.
Oh my god, I was laughing so hard.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah,
I didn't get it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was laughing so hard. Yeah, because fucking Jack Dorsey stepped down as CEO of Twitter.
Yeah, like no notice, just effective immediately.
I don't really want to talk about it because I don't have anything else to say over a headline, so I won't go get the tinfoil hats. But Ghislaine Maxwell trial is happening right now. That's why he stepped down. He knows shit's coming. I just saw some conspiracy post.
What's his connection to Epstein?
Oh, he's well, who knows right now? But maybe she was like, apparently.
Is he on the flight logs to?
Well, not as of now, but who knows? Because apparently a lot of the people that were there, it was only like the presidents and stuff that could like fly a fucking jet right there.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they would like go to a island nation that's close and then fucking passenger plane there.
Right.
And there's no flight logs for those planes.
Right, or a boat or whatever.
But apparently she's named like 250 people, including like Beyonce and Jay-Z. Yeah, and then so fucking Jack Dorsey's been a billionaire for a minute, like not ridiculous.
Not ridiculous.
That he could have bought a fucking child sex island ticket.
He does seem like the type that is just at a hair trigger ready to just like opt out of society.
Well, you see his beard recently? It's fucking down to his dick.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like Gandalf. It's fucked.
Yeah, he's enlightened.
Well, he is a weird guy.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard interviews with him. He's a character. That's for sure.
You can't get that rich that quickly at that age and not get fucked up.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's so much power. Like, not just get rich, but like, you own one of the biggest megaphones in the world.
Yeah. When you like have the power to like
silence the president.
Delete fucking Trump, right? Like,
that's insane.
Yeah. This was not a good way to do this, for the record.
I'm gonna say we have cups. You could actually Jaeger bomb it, but
well, take this one first, and then
I love getting a shot glass in the teeth. My favorite way to drink a drink.
Now we're transitioning into the part of the show called Shot Caller, where you, the audience, can pick the shot that we're going to take. Today we're taking Jaeger bombs
in honor of the stock market that crashed.
Yeah, my crypto's doing very well though.
Sweet.
And this Red Bull is expired in May, for the record.
Which will make it extra good.
Thank you, Jägermeister, for sponsoring this video.
It's not great.
Jaeger bombs?
Well, that wasn't a Jaeger bomb, but
Well, yeah, I don't want to do the fucking thing though. We could.
This is fine.
Yeah, for the record, I just poured half a shot into a shot glass and then topped it up with Red Bull. I didn't actually do the whole cup thing.
Yeah, it's fine. So what was this really good last business idea that you actually put in your real business ideas list?
I have a real business ideas list.
Did you say you like started like a new note page of like
Yes.
actual business ideas?
Yes. So for those of you who are longtime listeners, you'll know about my infamous business ideas note on my phone, which we're probably up to over 100 business ideas.
They're all very good.
They're all very good. I would say they're all good. Maybe there's one or two that aren't.
He's like Nikola Tesla. They just like come to him from
yeah.
the ether.
Like sushi as. That one's maybe not as good. I wrote.
Just didn't finish the thought.
Yeah, I wrote it when I was really, really drunk, and I remember in the morning Sophie was like, "What was that business idea we came up with?" And I checked my note, and it was just sushi as. And I have no idea, but I kept it in the note.
Yeah.
Anyway, some of these great ideas that I have are like vape that turns into a moped, so you can drive around, stuff like that. Good business ideas.
Or these days, it would be vape that turns into an electric scooter.
Yes. Or I'm trying to think of another one.
Like 17 dudes in Vancouver just got horny with that one.
Oh, we have a restaurant. I don't know if it's around anymore. It's called Soup Sandwiches and More. You know, it's like a deli.
Mm-hmm.
But we make like a soup sandwiches and more, but the more changes every day, and we don't tell anybody. So like one day you show up and we just have a bunch of fucking like irons. We're like, oh, we're an iron store, and they're like, what? No,
You
what?
sell knives?
And then and the next day, well, it's like, yeah, we're fucking selling. We just have a bunch of sheep in the restaurant. We're selling sheep today.
Now it's cat adoption.
Yeah, we just don't advertise ever. We just change constantly.
Figure out what the more is.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of
it looks like a money pit
Yeah.
because it is.
Well,
It's actually just a front for crypto mining.
sure. I'm trying to think of some other ones I have.
And because the more is cash only, you can just launder so much money.
A towel that's mold proof.
I'm pretty sure they have that.
Okay, cool. Face accessory super center. We only sell stuff that goes on your face.
Okay.
Scarf, piercing, mask, glasses. Okay, anyway.
Tattoos.
Trying to think of some other good ones. Do you remember any good ones?
Beard cream.
No. Strippers that ballroom dance.
Okay.
That's on there. There was a lot of stripper and pornography related ones.
Right.
Search bar on your porn site of choice that like AIs identifies women porn stars that look most like your girlfriend.
Or crush.
Or
name a thing.
Name a thing.
Step sibling.
Oh no. Anyway, it's a very good list of businesses.
I think JL's idea was a porn search bar that filters out all the step sibling porn.
Pornhub does that now. You can like
Really?
you can turn it off. It's pretty funny.
Wow, innovative.
Let's circle back to that. But anyway, I have a second business folder now called Not Dumb Business Ideas.
Right,
And it's
that's
like
what it's called. Yep.
actual stuff that in the next like 3 to 5 years I'd want to launch.
Okay. So do you want to say any of them? Or?
No.
Okay, that's
No,
fair.
no.
We can't talk about those.
Yeah, those are actually. I want to start a food truck. I've been doing that. I've been wanting to do that for a long time.
Okay.
But I don't know how to cook. I just do a lot of events.
Yeah.
And I see the market. Because setting up the food truck on a street every day you're not going to make money like that.
Yeah.
But I do so many events with the wine. I know exactly how to get in there. Because if I'm already I have good rapport with a lot of these events.
Yeah.
I can just kind of throw my truck in, and I do a bunch of markets that don't have any food that would do extremely well if they did.
Yeah, I think you would be the right guy for a food truck because I'm like, oh, it would destroy your social life. I'm like, but that kind of suits you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You've already built your life around that kind of schedule.
Yeah. No, it's literally just a add-on to what I already do.
Yeah.
And I would just need a partner
That would run it.
that can cook.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fucking cook. But
Yeah, you need a head chef.
Yes, but that's something realistic that I want to do in the next.
And realistically, head chefs work for jack all, and they have horrible working conditions to begin with. So
yeah, so
give them autonomy, give them a food truck, say go fucking go hog wild.
yeah. Well, and then I can put it outside my bar as well.
Yeah.
Because my bar doesn't have a kitchen, so that would
Yeah.
that'd be good for that as well.
And
So.
you could do it outside other breweries.
Which I'm friends with all the owners of breweries, so I can
And you could implement their beers with food and
yeah. So I think that's like a realistic kind of idea. I have a couple others. I'll share them with you off camera, but
cool.
But as I build different businesses, I will obviously muse them on this podcast. Get your advice live on the air.
Do you have any hot takes on the new local politics of the? It's the new Manitoba. They call themselves not the progressive conservatives. What do they call themselves?
With the PCs.
Is it?
Yeah,
is the PCs?
Yeah, are the Manitoba conservatives or the progressive conservatives?
Yeah.
Not related at all to the federal conservatives.
Yeah. So they have. I think they have a new leader, right?
Stevenson, our premier.
No. Sorry, no. Right. It's right of them. It's a new party, I think.
Oh, there's a brand new party just got founded.
What are they called again?
Something dumb. It's not the True
so
North.
good it doesn't matter.
It's not the True North Party is Derek Sloan's new party.
Nice.
Something dumb. It's based on it's all anti-vax. That's like their only platform.
Well, no, it's super rational. Like, it's the most boring conservative type of stuff. Like, it's not anti-vax. It's like anti-vax mandates.
There's not a single person that's against vax mandates that's vaccinated.
Fair. Yeah, they're super center kind of right.
And they'll be co-opted by Nazis very quickly.
They're like libertarian light.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, because they are. This is the nature of politics. When you're going to be right of the right wing party, you're going to get either dragged further right to win that far right vote, which is 10%, whatever. You're going to get dragged further right to appease them, or you get dragged to the center. So, being right of center, they're in kind of a sketchy position of like either they're going to appease the Nazis or
become liberals.
Or they're going to get watered down to become centrists. There's no such thing as liberals.
I love liberals.
There's just centrists.
They're all fascists that disagree how to spend my money.
Cheers to that.
We're taking a second shot, by the way. And if you're watching the video version of this podcast on youtube.com/votewillows, you could have seen us take a second shot, and I wouldn't have had to explain it.
Can you get the video version of this on Spotify?
Can you right now? No. Could I get it on there? I have no idea how, but I could look into it.
I'm assuming you could.
I'm assuming I could.
It seems to be a universal feature at this point.
Yeah, I could look into it. I use Anchor to upload.
Right, yeah. I think we talked about this before. It's not a feature of Anchor.
Can you move my chair? Thanks. Anchor is a service you basically upload to Anchor and then they distribute it to Apple Podcasts, and we're on like 30 different fucking.
I was gonna say it's like Hootsuite.
Weird ones I've never heard of. Got bought by Spotify.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I feel like I said this last time you brought this up.
Yeah, because their logo in the corner, it's like a Spotify company, and I was like, "What?
Okay.
Really?" No, they were like, "Oh, this is a cool service. Yeah, buy them. Fuck it." No, and then the funniest thing is if you upload, if you enable your monetization,
yeah,
but people aren't placing ads, Anchor will advertise on the podcast.
Oh,
and I guess that's how they make money or
right.
whatever, right?
Okay,
yeah,
they can insert themselves into the file.
Yeah, Yeah, because you can like upload segments in your podcast. Because like
Right.
I think it's very, very user friendly on purpose. Shout out Anchor, honestly, it's a great service, but it's very, very user friendly. So I think it's like made a lot of the times for people that don't really know how to edit.
Right.
Like they just upload their shit.
Yeah.
But I know how to, audio edit and mix and stuff, so I do that separately. But you can like upload segments, and then if you enable like monetization, you can say, okay, this is where I want an ad break.
Right.
And then Spotify, as far as I know, I've never had non-premium Spotify, but
Same.
as far as I understand, it just pulls random, like people pay, like it's like YouTube pre-rolls, right? Like you don't actually know who the advertisers are or anything. It's different than sponsorships where you're working directly with the people.
Right. That's inserted into your own content.
Yeah, the advertising is just like, okay, we're taking a break, and then you have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. In non-premium Spotify, there's an ad before like every 5th song or something.
Yeah.
It's an unskippable ad. They can be like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like YouTube.
I remember someone was playing non-premium Spotify. Where was it? Somewhere dumb. Oh, it was I was at like a retail store.
Oh.
And then it was like just
Spotify
I was
ads
like,
every 5 songs.
Yeah, I was like shopping, and then it was like some ad. I'm like, what is this? And I was like, oh, it's just they're just using a fucking non-premium Spotify. What the fuck?
This store can't afford $10 a month.
Yeah, it's like, come on. And when yeah. But then
And that I'm pretty sure that violates Manitoba law.
Canadian law, the CRTC has when you buy a song on iTunes or whatever,
Yeah.
you're not buying the broadcast rights.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
So radio stations pay for the broadcast rights of a song so they can replay them. You can't just use a song even though you have Spotify. However, Spotify has an option that all the songs available on Spotify you have the broadcast rights of. It's like an extra $3 a month or something.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Canada, sorry, it's a Canadian thing. It's SoCan.
Yes.
So Tyrell, my friend that's a musician, he gets royalty checks from SoCan every month.
Because
If anyone plays his music in a broadcast capacity, he gets a royalty.
that's cool.
And it's not massive, because I mean he's not super popular, but like sometimes in his peak when he was getting radio play nationally, he was getting a few $100 a month.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it was like it gets a few plays a month with a couple of radio stations, gets a few $100 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was, if this is kind of a big thing with like bars, if you play that song in a bar, that bar has to pay SoCan fees because it's part of their entertainment.
Yeah, but if you just buy the broadcasting rights, it's all wrapped up in that cost.
Right, so Spotify would have to pay SoCan.
Basically, yeah. Yes, correct.
So, they would have to, because otherwise it's not legal.
Yes, and I would never play Spotify that I don't own the broadcast rights to in a bar that I own.
You own a bar?
Allegedly.
I thought that electro swing was your music.
That I made myself?
Yeah.
Yes.
On that piano in the other room.
It's right there.
No, in the office other room.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. We have a 110-year-old piano in my office in my bar.
But not like in the bar, but like in your office next to
Yeah. Like the customers can't see. I wouldn't
Yeah.
trust the customers with it.
No.
Yeah.
100% no.
Well, now it's just like we use it as a shelf. So now it's like too much work to get out of there.
It would be a lot of work to get
so
out
it's
of
just like going to be there forever.
That's $600 for
Zach,
piano movers.
it's Zach's, or it's like, yeah, it belonged to like Zach's grandfather, but it's Zach's. And when he moved it in there, it was just because he was between houses or whatever, and he didn't have a place to put it.
No, it's because he didn't want to like move it into the house he was in, because he knew he wouldn't be there for long, and it was like you'd have to move it up like 2 flights of stairs.
Yeah, and then move out again in a year. And so he said, once I get something more permanent, I'll move it. He's been in the same condo for 6 years, and he hasn't.
That long?
And he has, since before we started the business.
Oh
No, that doesn't make any sense actually.
No, like since Lenore, which is not a street.
No,
The other one.
Sophie lived on Lenore. We lived on
The other one.
Lipton.
Yeah.
Right.
The
that that was 2018.
Yeah, it's only 3 years.
It's 2022 in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay, whatever. But anyway, he could move the fucking piano.
Yeah, but now he's gonna buy a house and then you have to move it again.
Ugh.
Ugh.
So much work, honestly.
So here's a fun thought experiment. I thought of this like 20 minutes ago. Never brought it up. I was thinking the other day. I'm like, okay, what if I sold my soul? I would have to do this first.
I'm listening.
And just ran to name an organization that you know in our province and say, hey, I've got this idea for a tech company. And never apologize, never back down, just fucking hard sell the shit out of like a pretty good idea.
Okay.
And like, even if this is like, I don't think this could ever be profitable, I don't think it has market viability, like all the, the realistic things that you think about. Just say, fuck it, hard sell that bitch. And convince, like, use every strategy that I know to manipulate people to, like, just get on with the idea and just commit to it so hard that people believe that I believe it, so therefore it's believable. I'm describing every tech company ever.
Yeah.
Just do that. How far could I run with that shit? And would it make my life better?
People have run farther than you. I think Elon Musk is a great example of, no, you can't just have a private rocket company.
Yeah.
And he just believed it and just ran with it.
See, I hate to be that guy, but I really hate to be that guy because I know how it sounds. I really do. And I hate those people that say this. But, like, I do genuinely think I'm more capable than the average.
You think you're more capable than Elon Musk?
No.
Okay. Do you think you're more capable than Elon Tusk?
I don't know him personally.
And you know Elon Musk, though, personally.
Yes.
Okay. I wish.
The world does.
He's from Saskatchewan, Canada.
Wow. That's false.
No, he is.
He's been there.
No, he lived there for like 16 years.
But he's not from there.
Pretty much.
He's from an emerald mine in apartheid South Africa.
Aren't we all?
But no, like, I was thinking about him, like, what if I know we had this, whatever, heartfelt discussion 2-3 episodes ago where I'm like, these are all the reasons that I didn't do the things that I've, could have done.
Yeah.
To make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I had a month with like a lot of bills, but also like a lot of money came in, but also like it all just went to bills. And I'm like, you need like a lot of money.
Yeah, you do.
You need like a lot.
Well, that's how
like,
I feel.
life's hard. You need like a lot of money.
That's how
I kind of get it.
I just filed my taxes for my business.
Yeah.
Well, a couple months ago, and it's like, oh yeah, we did like 3. This was last year's taxes, so like this was
year deferred,
like
year
18
late, yeah.
months ago,
Yeah.
because this was like last fiscal's taxes. This is like 2019
Yeah.
fiscal. We did like 300 G's in sales, profited like $40,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the fuck is all this money?
Yeah.
Like,
Where did it go?
where did it go?
Where's that 40 grand?
Yeah, exactly. And then like we're almost done the taxes for the next fiscal, the last fiscal. We're almost caught up with the accounting, and it looks like we're gonna profit almost double.
Yeah.
I still don't have any money in the bank account.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is it going?
Yeah.
Like, where does
like,
it,
what
where
is
does it
accounting?
go?
What is
Yeah.
account?
Where does it go?
I don't think I profited that much. I think I profited nothing. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, if I was to go into the tech space right now, I think the only thing that makes sense to me that I could like justify to myself is worthy of fucking over potentially millions of people, which is really what that is. I think it would have to be like kind of maybe in the carbon credit space. It would have to be probably either energy. It would have to be like green related.
I feel like you need a lot of money to do something effectively.
Oh yeah, 100. I'm saying 100%. Like
tens, hundreds of millions.
But you can get that without a business.
Fair.
I was listening. Let me explain kind of my thought process here.
Sure.
So I was listening to a podcast about venture capital.
Yes.
And how it's evolved over the last 25 years. We're getting into like 3rd generation angels. And
like their grandparents were angels.
No. So let me explain.
'Kay.
An angel is basically the key building block to what they call a quote unquote startup, which is a company that is basically worth $1 billion before it makes any money. That's how I'll define it.
Yeah.
There's other definitions. That's the one that you need to know.
That's not the one I subscribe to, but okay, continue.
You're worth $1 billion before you make a buck.
That's what a startup company is?
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that.
I've spoken to people who will like scream, like, you know, that like screaming liberal that's like crying with the pubes.
You mean every liberal?
With the pubes on his face?
Yeah.
I've talked to people who like feel that if you're not worth $100 million, you've achieved nothing in your life.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyways, the startup world, the unicorn companies, however you want to define it, it requires a generation of unicorns to be created, of angels to be created, which is people that get like ultra rich at a pretty young age and like exit a company and have a massive amount of wealth, but like still most of their career ahead of them, and they take that money and they go find people that they think are like them and have the potential to become multi-billionaires themselves, and then they throw absurd amounts of money behind people who have no proof of concept, no business, no revenue, no experience, no connections, but they like basically manifest that out of nothing. Like they just like fucking ram that shit through reality until it becomes a successful company. Like that's how Uber, that's how fucking Airbnb, like that's how a lot of these companies exist, because some angel like Peter Thiel, the fucking PayPal crew, all these people that grow up and they just ram through companies. So VC used to be only Silicon Valley, used to only be specific kinds of tech, but it has since, because people see how much money VC was making, it's now diversified. Now even like your grandma's trust fund has a VC leg.
Yeah.
And they're
not trust fund, like retirement plan.
Correct. 401k, whatever the fuck. So they have VC legs now, or are invested in VCs, trying to find these unicorns. They were saying explicitly in these interviews that VC funds, or like VC representatives, were saying yes and giving term sheets, which is like a letter of intent, or like we're going to do a deal, or it's like putting in an offer on a house.
Yeah. They
were giving a term sheet within less than 10 minutes of meeting a quote-unquote what they call founders. Founders are the Mohammeds and Jesuses of the business world.
Which it takes weeks and weeks to do proper due diligence on a company.
They were bragging about giving tens of millions of dollars to founders that they've met within less than 10 minutes.
So what you're saying is...
Because it's so hyper-competitive...
They're going to get an offer somewhere else.
Correct. So if you come in and you say, I'm doing... like, I could literally search, like, keyword... I could just spend, like, maybe 3 weeks just looking at, like, Google statistics, search keywords... Like look at COP26 speeches, look at presidential speeches of like a couple of major countries, and just take like hot talking points, throw them into like a word scrambler,
and that's your
print it
plan.
out, and then read that, and then get $20 million.
And also, these VCs can lose money because
40 times.
Yeah, because every 100th idea will make them more money than all the other failures.
That's the expectation. Like
I always say,
like 90% expectation of failure, 95% expectation of failure.
I always use Jason Blum as an example. He's a filmmaker, owns Blumhouse Studios, and he will just throw money at anything.
Yeah.
Literally anything. Like he's funded some fucking garbage movies. But he'll just like, oh yeah, you need $1 million to make a movie. Here's $1 million, and he produces like 20 movies a year, sometimes more. Like it's fucked. Like he's just whatever. But every so often he picked Paranormal Activity.
Yeah,
he threw $20,000 at Paranormal Activity and made fucking $100 million. He funded all the Insidious movies, all the Sinister movies. Like every so often, he gets a fucking big hit.
Yeah.
And it more than makes up for all the failures. And there was an interview of him, and the interviewer's like getting to explain his business model, and he's like, "Why don't other people do this?"
Yeah.
And Jason Blum's like, "I don't fucking know. It's not rocket science."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so. But anyway, but like I always use him as an example because I really respect his business model, and it's the same reason with this. Like I throw $1 million into 100 entrepreneurs, most of them fail, but if one makes $100 million, I've made all my money back. And just
Right.
throwing more money at more people means you have a higher
Yeah, and this
percentage chance of making more money.
and this is happening because it works. Like it's not happening because it's absurd. It's happening because it
well, there's
works.
going to be a new Facebook out there, right? Like there's always a
It's
new
not
fucking
even a new
company.
Facebook. It's the 15 companies that get bought by Facebook.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like there's
So wait, what you're saying is you want to create a tech company that does nothing just to get...
no. I'm not saying that it does nothing. I 100% would go balls to the wall and like try to make that exactly what I said it was going to be, whether it was bullshit or not. Like just.
But if you fail, you
just
can
pick
still pay yourself a salary.
Right. Just pick a thing and commit, ride or die, into the sunset.
There's a South Park where they have a startup to do exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what do you do? He's like, well, we make money.
Yeah.
Like they're this, and then they name it the Washington Redskins, because if you recall, the trademark
Yeah.
went up for sale, and so like Cartman buys it, and then they always pick up the phone. They're like, Washington Redskins, go fuck yourself, because the entire joke is we're a startup, we just take your money
Yeah.
and produce nothing, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
That
Like,
sounds great. Let me give you some more money.
Yeah, so basically that's what you're saying you want to do.
I'm saying thought experiment. I've been noodling on this last couple days,
I wish you would noodle me.
and I'm like, you know what? I honestly think I could do it. Like I know I can learn the language. I've been to events where I've like met these guys. They're like, oh, we've raised 12 million. I'm like, okay, well, what do you do?
Like we know
Like,
people...
how much? Like, have you made any sales? Do you have a product? And they're like, well, no, but we raised 12 million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
Well, we know people personally that have gone on Dragon's Den
yeah.
and raised a lot of
I've
money.
auditioned for Dragon's Den.
Yeah, and raised a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I won't say his name, but you probably know who I'm talking about. That went on Dragon's Den, had a product or a app or whatever, and then I saw him like 3 months after that. And I'm like, oh hey man, how you doing? How's business? He's like, we're going fucking bankrupt.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, he was like just trying to liquidate his stock.
Yeah, to like he was trying to break even on the deal.
Yeah, because like Google Maps released an update that basically made his business irrelevant.
Yeah.
Oops.
Whoops. That's another thing about the tech space is like, it's so hard to just not have Facebook rip you off.
Yeah.
Like they either try to buy you, or they just...
Oh yeah, it's an ultra competitive environment. Like they're trying to get away from this too, but a lot of these VCs, they want to see a liquidation event happen within like 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, well that's...
They want to see either you go public or you get bought.
When I wrote my business plan, my creditors said, what's your exit strategy?
Yeah.
And some they told me straight up, they're like, sometimes it's a perfectly reasonable exit strategy to work on this for 40 years and then retire. That's fine.
Yeah.
But just include that. Or are you looking to build it up and sell it for 5 years? Like,
Yeah.
because that's going to affect how you build the business, and it's relevant to if you're planning on being there for 30 years, you're not going to make 2-year decisions. You're going to make 30-year decisions, right?
Right.
So it's interesting because I think there's a lot of people that don't actually have passion for what they're doing, that just basically start a business because they think it's, I don't want to say easy, but they think they can just like get acquired in 3 years and it's fine. Like
what I see as a common thread with startups is it's a passion for elevating themselves.
Okay, elaborate.
Like they want to say they built this company so that they can then raise more money next time. Like it's like,
Oh yeah,
I'll be happy when, or I'll be successful when, and it's just like everyone's kind of chasing more clout.
Yeah,
That's
there
all
was
it is.
I really like Gary Vaynerchuk. I know a lot of people think he's kind of a grifter, but I like him a lot. And he had a thing where he was like at a panel, and they were going through the line introducing everyone, and they would stand up and be like, "Hi, my name's whatever Bill. I raised $12 million," and everyone claps. And then the next girl gets up and is like, "Hi, my name's Jill, and I raised $4 billion," and everyone claps, right? And it gets to Gary, who's last, and he's like, stands up. He's like, "What the fuck are you talking? Why do you lead with how much money you've raised?
Like how much money you borrowed.
What are your fucking sales like?" And that's
Yeah.
how he talks, right? Like he doesn't give a shit about swearing on stage and like confronting. He doesn't give a fuck. So he's like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, really?" But yeah, like people, that's their fucking lead is how much money they've raised.
Yes. So what if I made that okay with myself?
Okay, sure.
Or pretended to.
You know what? How I think of that? That's just like that's how much either I've gotten this far in Shrugging Doctor that my partner and I still own 50% each of the company.
Yeah.
We haven't sold any amount, even though there's been opportunities to do so. That's a point of pride for me that I've gotten this far and didn't have to sell portions of my business or taken massive amounts of debt. And when someone's like, "I've raised $12 million, that either means they've sold off a bunch of their company or they've taken a bunch of debt. Those are both two things I don't personally think you should be proud of.
Yeah, it's like you've now created a massively inflated market cap that you now have to live up to. So this is actually a pretty good segue. I didn't even realize in the Elizabeth Holmes trial is currently in progress.
You know, we're like a good segue here on Segway.com.
So she went on the stand and claimed that basically what was her kind of like advisor or her number two.
This is the medical science woman who
had no medical science.
Defrauded her investors. She was, for a point, the richest, youngest woman
in the world,
until they found out that the company was a fraud and basically a Ponzi scheme, and
it had no technology.
Had no technology, and and it went to zero.
Yeah, so she is on trial now for wire fraud and could see potentially up to like 30 years in prison.
Yeah, wire fraud is the big one. That's what they always get like organized crime people with.
Yeah, it's a big crime, or at least they make it so.
Well, it's a really broad term. It's not just wire fraud. Like it's a really it encompasses like 30 different crimes.
Right. Yeah, it's like
basically high level financial fraud.
Right.
Like signing a contract, like
receiving money in bad faith.
Yeah, that's the one they can get you. Like it's like a minimum 7 years or something. Like.
Right. So she could potentially see a lot of jail time. But so she gets on
jail time.
Yeah, she gets on the stand and she says, she was sexually abused and manipulated by this like quite a bit older person that was kind of like was her like VC Yoda that was like leading her through the growth of the company and was like her advisor and like trusted person in the company and was like much older than her. I think probably had a fair bit of like financial leverage over her. Like it was a very unequal in terms of power, very unequal position of two people. So it's completely believable. And she's like, he made me do these things. He advised me to do all this. He said, you know, just keep selling. No, you need to spend money on this. Like basically saying that he coached her through all of this, which is simultaneously convenient and also believable. And she was like, she was fucking wrecked on the stand. So it's like, is she going to be able, are they going to be able to, is the defense going to be able to introduce evidence that supports that?
Yeah, because you need to prove it.
Right.
So,
they don't need to prove it. They just need to provide a reasonable doubt.
But you're fucking a guy who gave you bad business advice, and therefore you're not at fault.
Right.
Fuck off. I don't know about that.
So the trial of Elizabeth Holmes is kind of challenging the entire idea that we were just talking about, that raising millions of dollars on bullshit business ideas can be fraud if you're doing like past a certain point of like carelessness where you know.
Well, you need to be upfront with your shareholders,
right?
Like, or else it's fraud. You can't just lie to your shareholders,
right? So where do you draw that line between fake it till you make it, or this is what we're going to do, but we haven't done? So you're investing in future potential that has not been realized. So you are lying.
She was telling people that the technology existed and it didn't.
Right.
Like, that was just a straight up lie.
Yeah.
Like,
Saying
there's
it's going to exist and getting a bunch of money for something that doesn't exist is still consent by both parties.
Yeah, because they know what they're investing in.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between that and fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
If she was being honest about it.
Yeah.
Because it's not illegal to be bad at business, which I say constantly. Like,
Yeah.
you can just be a bad business person, and that's whatever.
It's not even illegal to like really bad judgment and do a lot of shitty things to people.
No, you can usually do shitty things to people and
get away with it.
Kind of makes you a dick, but it's not. You're not gonna go to fucking jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what's Zuckerberg's famous quote? You can still be immoral without being illegal, and that's how I like to live my life. Haha.
It's something like that. Yeah.
That's his like famous quote.
Yeah.
Well put, Mark. It shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. At a certain point, do you think you have to get rid of morals to be successful in business?
I think people that prioritize morality are going to really struggle, because at a certain scale, you do have to lie.
I think you can do business morally. I guess my code of morals is different than some people's code of morals, but I think you can generally do business honorably and do very well. But, you always hear, like, it's not personal, it's just business, right? Like,
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, I had to fucking be ruthless because it's business. Like,
I will preface that with saying, yeah, like, people do have this idea of this is how it's done, and just being savagely good at this, being I fuck you before you fuck me, being a war of equals, right?
Yeah.
Like, I put you out of business, I pulled this political string and ruined your career because, you were trying to take down my empire. Like, all's fair in war. So, I don't think that most of these founders ever believe that they are defrauding people, that they are taking money that they're not, that they don't deserve. That's not
you're saying, like, the
justified.
VC people that we know that raised $10 million and then failed.
They don't see it as a grift. They're like, well, we really tried. It just didn't work out. Like, This was a genuine effort.
They weren't trying to fraud.
Right.
Well, intent matters, I think.
Intent matters, but if you're just excellent at that kind of leads to the edge of, like, what I'm saying is I'm not good at deceiving myself.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah. We're both pretty self-aware, I think.
I'm fucking self-critical. I'm very self-aware, and, like, I know when I'm bullshitting myself.
Yeah.
Except for when I don't. Obviously.
And then that's a whole different thing.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But in business terms,
yeah.
I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
So I think, like, what I'm saying is, like, what if I just pretended to be someone that can fool themselves into thinking that they're, like, the hottest shit? Because a lot of these successful people that I've been around and, some worked for, they got there because they so believed that they had a secret sauce, just like, beating in their chest, that was so good and important and new that they deserved this success. But when the rubber hit the road, they didn't have shit. They didn't have new ideas. Like, just like I was giving you shit about, like, fuck the government, I don't want to be told what to do. I'm like, then what? They hit that moment that then what?
See, but I don't think about that.
Right.
That's where we differ.
So the revolutionary that thinks about, okay, well, what will I do? Oh, I'll probably just create another government. He's not going to start a revolution. The guy that's going to start the revolution is like, he doesn't question himself.
I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it.
Right. I'm the opposite of that. And
I think we are very different levels of pragmatism when it comes to business.
We are clearly very different levels. Like, we live dramatically different lives.
We have the same Myers-Briggs personality type, though, which I find interesting.
Yeah, so we have the same personality profile with the same tendencies, the same ways of thinking, but we have this distinction where I
Or you're a
I
dum dum,
rationalize myself out of doing like committing to anything.
and I commit before I think about anything.
Right.
I am a smart.
And you're far better suited to be successful in this
in
economy
today's
than I am.
world. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, pragmatism doesn't get you anywhere in this world.
Yeah.
It gets you a job that pays 150 grand a year.
Or less.
Sure, but yeah, like getting a master's in computer programming and then getting a stable job at a tech giant.
So,
Pragmatism gets you that.
So I can't decide whether or not I want to be the guy that's like lives in the woods and actually has it figured out,
Yeah.
or do I want to be on the front of a magazine?
See, I like society too much to go. I always remember like I had in high school which ironically my business partner now and I were going to make like an off-grid
Shack.
house. So we called it the shack plan.
Yeah.
Where we were going to make an off-grid. We would have died, I think.
I don't think you would have died.
But we were like emailing people trying to get them to subdivide 1 acre off their property and shit. And we were going to like build a little shack for like 10 grand all ourselves and then just live off the grid was the plan.
Yeah.
And then I started getting interested in business and then, whatever. But I do have that like in the back of my head, like, if I liquidated everything right now, I do have enough money to just go get a fucking cabin.
Yeah.
Like, and not have to deal
Yeah,
with
you
any
could go
of this
tiny home off grid
easy.
for sure.
Easy, I have enough money. I really like society. I like living in it. I like this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I don't know.
I find it fun.
I'm in a weird headspace, and I'm trying not to think about it too much because it's paralyzing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I'm pretty sure that I have the skill set to pull it off because I've flirted with it.
Yeah.
Like I've spoken on a panel and impressed the president of the biggest bank in the country.
Wait, sorry. Flirted with the idea of off-grid griving or with
No, sorry.
grifting a tech loan?
Super capitalism.
Okay, we've switched.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, we're talking about both
Yeah, sure,
simultaneously.
sure.
I've been in that position where I know I can talk the talk.
Yeah.
I know I can impress people, and
Yeah.
I'm significantly better at it now than I was
Well,
then.
that's the reason why I'm so hard on you for not
Because you can see
pursuing-
that.
because I can see that
Yeah.
is I can see that you're skilled and you've lived and played with these players before and then you sell yourself short
And then
you-
I just opt out.
yeah, which I don't. That's why I'm so hard on you,
Yeah.
because I want to bully you into getting back in that space.
Become a billionaire tech founder
Because-
that ends up on Epstein's list.
Yes, because I think you're capable of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I am too. Not to be that guy. Like I preface this with, I know how it fucking sounds.
Well,
believe
I'm
me.
telling you that I think you're capable of it, so you don't have to say it yourself.
And I've had people tell me, like the fucking, the head of the business faculty of the U of M is like, yeah, you're the fucking guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, ha ha ha.
And right now you lay tile for 10 hours a day.
You know what's funny?
Huh.
I saw him the other day.
Okay.
This head professor
Yeah.
was walking his dog
Okay. What kind of
down
dog?
this. It was like a little poodle cross.
Okay.
Important.
I don't know.
Down the street in front of a house that I was like working on.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Is that guy?
here's the frame.
Yeah.
I'm like working on this floor, doing like this beautiful handmade clay from California. Like I was having a pretty good time training some new guys, and I go outside to go to the bathroom because the fucking toilets are all out because it's under construction, right?
Yeah.
Contractors use the porta potty because we're disgusting pigs.
Sure.
Although usually the porta potties are cleaner than the house.
That's fine.
So going outside to use the porta potty, but I'm like I'm super dressed down. Like I'm wearing construction clothes. I'm dirty as hell. I'm wearing a
course.
toque, whatever. Like
Wait, you
not really
You
recognizable.
don't lay tile in a three-piece suit?
Right. I'm not recognizable. If you saw me in 3-piece suit and you saw me in that, you wouldn't fucking know.
Yeah.
So I walk out and I'm like going to the porta potty, which is sitting in the front yard in this like suburban neighborhood, and I'm like, oh my god. And I just like quickly turned away and like whatever jumped to the porta potty, and I'm like, why didn't I say hello? I'm like,
Because you're embarrassed?
I'm like, no, I'm not embarrassed, but I know how this guy is. He's very single-minded,
Sure.
which, I mean, good for him. I would not be able to, in any reasonable amount of time, explain why the fuck I'm doing this.
Okay.
Why I'm here now doing this.
Yeah.
In any reasonable amount of time. Like, he would...
Dude, I'm just trying to walk my dog, please.
No.
I don't need to hear your story.
No, not that. Like, if he was like, what are you doing? Like, for him, I can see that being like, that would probably be the most memorable moment of me in his life. Is like, yeah, this guy, like, I saw him doing all these cool things, and like, now he's doing construction. I saw him like going in this porta potty. Like, it's amazing how far and how fast they fall. Like, it's what a fucking loser.
Did this give you some self-reflection? Is that why we're talking about this?
Yeah, it was like a weird moment. I'm like, I don't feel ashamed of it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of what I do.
Yeah.
But I couldn't explain that to this guy. I don't think you get it.
That's interesting.
It was a weird moment.
That's
was
interesting.
like-
I'm
It was like getting smacked in the face by my old life and having to reconcile it with my new life.
I'm super interested that how your brain is rationalizing this this event.
Right?
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
To see your kind of thought process.
My internal narrative is obviously it's defensive. Because that's what your internal narrative is for.
Yeah, which I like. What do you think? Do you think that's? Trying to gather my thoughts here. Like, there is not a single person on the earth I wouldn't want to explain what I do to. Like, not only am I very proud of what I do and what I've created, but I think they would be interested in what I do and what I've created.
Yeah, and like, I can't say that I would be happy to do that to 100% of people. I could say like 99% of people I'm happy to. Even like people in that entrepreneurial space, like other founders, whatever, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing this because this.
Yeah.
And I would get into a heated argument with it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Of defending what I do.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do that.
Yeah.
But this particular guy, because he's not a main character of that world of my life, he's like a tertiary character, but I know how he perceives. I have an idea of how he perceives like what I used to do. And it's like, I just can't, like, how do I reconcile the transition that my life has taken from that to this? Like, it's infinitely complex. Like, so many things have happened.
Of course, and it, you know.
And not seeing someone for, like, it's like going to your high school reunion and trying to justify your life to someone you haven't seen in 12 years.
Oh, man, I can't wait to go to my high school reunion.
Yeah, like,
I'm going to fucking land a helicopter on the, like, field.
Yeah, just rent one, yeah.
On the school field. Or, like, I've always think about this. Like, G-Wagon, Lamborghini, limo, G-Wagon.
Yeah.
Pull up onto the grass of the school. And then have, like, guy get out of the G-Wagon in the front, guy get out of the G-Wagon in the back in, like, men in black suits and sunglasses.
Yeah.
Open the limo, a bunch of pugs come out.
Pugs and tuxes.
Then open the Lamborghini and I get out. Like, yeah. And then one date on one, and then my dates come out of the both of my dates come out of the limo. Each go on one of my arms. One puts a cigar in my mouth and lights it. The other one cracks a fucking champagne bottle. I take a swig, puff of the cigar, and then we walk in.
I will help you pull this off.
Or
I will not financially help you, but I will help you pull this off.
Or alternatively, same kind of situation, except the guys who get out of the G-Wagons fucking put on a high-vis vest and start waving my helicopter down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a whole convoy for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for me, my high school reunion, like, Are
you even going to it?
Like,
do you want to see all these
I kind of just want to.
All these people probably died of COVID.
right?
All your Mennonite high school.
I kind of want to just show up to just for the sake of looking at other people. Like I don't care about flexing or like, oh, this is who I am now.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna flex.
Yeah.
Why else do people go to that shit?
Yeah, like I'm almost bipolar in that way where it's like I can see myself in both roles, like doing that shit that you're talking about, but also being invisible.
Yeah.
I can enjoy both.
I'm gonna have
you only see it one way.
Yes. I'm gonna have an after party at my mansion as well.
Of course.
Of course. And be like, everyone's invited except you. Fuck you.
So I think that I'm going to find a happy medium between mogul and muggle.
Okay.
Spitting hot fire.
I liked it a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was the fucking.
You gotta run an applause track right there.
Yeah, that was the fucking. We gotta get a soundboard.
I think I'm gonna find a midpoint, and it's going to kind of scratch all the itches simultaneously.
Oh, from all sides.
Because I don't rationally, realistically think that I am going to settle for less than some degree of, founder status with some sort of idea, some sort of company. Like whether it's a decade from now, whether it's 2 years from now, whatever. There's going to be something that hits, and I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to take this to the moon.
Yeah.
I do still have that feeling, and it has not faded in the least bit. It's, if anything, gets stronger every year, but it's like it's getting stronger in as well as like my character's getting stronger, my capabilities, like my self-esteem, my self-confidence, like all, like I'm building a foundation that I feel like I can just like fucking rocket off of. I can't be fucked with, because right now what I'm doing is like understanding rational value of like my worth as a human being in society. Like it's easy to rationalize what I do. It's obvious what my value is, and it's enjoyable. Like there's a reasonable return on like mastery of what I do. All these things are very rewarding. Like I'm in a very rewarding space. And when you get into the esoteric, which is what happens when you get into the tech space, you go from like realistic to the impossible and making that real.
Yeah, stretch what you're capable of, basically.
Not even stretch what you're capable of, stretch what's possible.
Sure.
At all. Like, forget what I'm fucking capable of. It's not about me, man. It's about the vision. It's about the dream. Like, I know the fucking talking points.
You're already talking like someone I hate in the tech world, so
yeah,
I love it.
And I'm pretty sure I could do it. I just gotta commit. But when I find that thing that I can commit to, we're going to the moon, baby. Like, I think I'm getting closer. I think I'm gonna find it. I just gotta not like talk myself out of it when I get there. That'll be the hard part.
I will help talk you into it.
Please do, and everyone listening to this podcast can see the ride.
Yeah, that'll be though. Yeah,
I'm still convinced that I'm gonna be richer than you.
You're like, I just don't think so. But
and
see, this is the kind of competition I want to have in my life. Is like, I always said, I wanted like a arch enemy.
Yeah.
But like, no one's on my level.
You need like an arch friend.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But like, I can't have an arch enemy because nobody is smart, handsome, and rich like I am.
Obviously.
Like you're almost there, but I like you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm simultaneously feeling like completely out of sorts, but also inspired.
I think that's a fair place to be. I think that's a place that all entrepreneurs find themselves at some point, where they feel almost overwhelmed, but they know they have the light at the end of the tunnel. You have the beacon you're focusing on.
I'm like ramping up towards, like, this is if you know me, like, I have a cyclical way of looking at life, and unavoidably, New Year's fucks with me.
Yeah,
It always hits me hard.
I know it does.
Um,
It's just another day for me, but yeah, you're weird.
New Year's always hits me hard, and my birthday is like another bump.
Yeah.
I
Where
don't
you like reevaluate your life. Almost.
right. I don't intend it, but like I can't help it. Like, we do some MDM legal drugs on New Year's,
Yeah.
and it just goes there inevitably.
Yeah.
Like, I have breakthroughs. And in the last couple of years, it's been more personal of like me reconciling with who I am.
But then it's also been COVID, and like
Right.
we've been focused less on business and more about just kind of surviving.
Yeah.
Which has put both of us, I think, more introspective about our mental health and
Yeah, and I've shared like really intimate truths about myself that I never thought I would have, like with my friends, and just kind of there's been progression every year, and I honestly didn't think about it till like this moment, but I'm like, oh shit, New Year's is coming. I wonder what's gonna happen this time.
we wake up in the morning. We've started a tech company.
Makes
that's
me feel gross just thinking about
That's
it.
basically how it was with the winery. Like,
Yeah.
we just kind of got drunk, and then it was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it.
Any country that's ever been started probably just happened that way. Bunch of guys at a bar, like, you know
Hey, what's the fucking napkin blueprints? Right? That's like a stereotype. Like the fucking the guy drunk writes his idea on a fucking bar napkin. Like, that's a thing for a reason, right? Like, you have
Yeah.
this fucking spark of you have the aha moment.
Yep.
So last thing I want to ask you before we transition here into our last segment, what do you think you need? Is it literally just that idea that you're waiting for, or are you underfunded? Do you need like what do you think is stopping you right now from going that direction?
I don't have an idea yet. Like, I'll frame it politically.
Sure.
Not politically, but the way the politicians talk about these things. I don't yet have a permission structure
Okay.
for myself to buy an idea.
Okay.
I have ideas.
Yeah, of course.
I have inspirations. I have general ideas about things. And I'm not worried about money. I know the sequence that could lead me to money. I know people that know the sequence to money, whose entire profession it is just to raise capital.
Yeah,
Like,
we've seen it done before.
Like, while we've been speaking, someone who's raised 8 figures of cash in the last 12 months for a company has just messaged me on Snapchat.
Yeah.
And would absolutely help me. That none of those are obstacles, and I can't deceive myself saying that they are.
Yeah.
Because I haven't tried.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm lacking permission structure. I'm lacking that. Maybe it isn't. I'm lacking an idea that kind of meets all the needs and requirements. Maybe it's a timing thing. Maybe like something needs to happen in the world. I'm like, okay, now this is something that I see, and that, some dots connect.
Yeah. My personal piece of advice for this is that there's never going to be all the dots connecting.
No,
people that wait for the perfect moment, it never happens.
I agree. But also timing is very important when it comes to startups.
Yeah, sure. Also, but
timing is very important.
But that being said, every day you don't put in effort towards your goal is timing wasted.
Yeah.
Like, it's momentum wasted. Like,
I'm not saying you can't manufacture it. Like, I'm not saying you can't
artificially
like,
kind of build timing.
Timing and luck and whatever favors the prepared and the hardworking.
Here's what we do.
I believe all those things.
Here's what we do. We make some like tech oil cleanup company.
Mm-hmm.
We go out tonight and we poison all the rivers.
Manufacture a crisis.
Manufacture a crisis. Now we're
That's what the real businessman.
now we're talking. Throwing a brick through a window that has written on it Bill's brick repair or window repair on the brick, and you throw it through people's windows.
And also, that oil spill. I want to riff on that for a bit.
Oh God.
So you create an oil spill that's like significant but not catastrophic.
Okay.
And then you solve the problem.
Yep.
Get proof of concept, get attention,
And then
get a bunch of funding, and then
then
go out and actually solve that problem out in the world, and you did a net good
Okay, so kill a few hundred people, poison a few hundred lake animals, whatever.
to save a few million.
Yeah, I like it. Honestly.
So this, I just described net zero carbon emissions.
Well, let's put it in a business plan, and you can read it to us next week. See,
I'm like,
Zach and I are very good at timelines. We're always like, okay, this is the day we're getting this done.
yeah,
And then it forces it, because we're both very big procrastinators.
yeah,
So we give ourselves deadlines
yeah,
to get stuff done. And now I don't want to get too far into it, but I'm working on a new startup with our actually star employee Wyatt. Where the three of us are now partnering up for a new startup. I'll get more into it. Just got my first round of funding, but I'll get more into it as it progresses. But now we're like, okay, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and this, and we're like, okay, yeah, have it to us to present on Tuesday. And he's like, and we're like, yeah, just you get it done. That's it.
I fully agree, because when I've done work in startups, I've gone from like, okay, it'd be cool. Okay, well, let's sit down and do it, and we just forced ourselves to do it for 8 hours.
Yeah, and it worked.
And I had a significant result at the end of that day. We're like, this is so fucking easy. Why doesn't everyone do it?
Yeah.
And it's been 2 years and I haven't done it again. Like,
there you go.
So
next week, give me a fucking idea. Anyway, we're gonna transition here to our last.
Thanks for that. Just fucking calls me out.
We're going to transition here into our last segment, where Tyler and I give you business advice that we are currently going through in business. I feel like his is going to be pretty esoteric about what we were just talking about.
No, it's not.
Okay, but I want to talk about just briefly. I feel like I've said this one before, but the reason I bring it up is because this week I had the local food and beverage association, or like restaurant, it's not a restaurant association, but I think all their members are restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a food and beverage association. They just reached out to me a couple days ago being like, hey, we're working on kind of a new organization where we're lobbying the government.
Okay.
We love you guys and because I have a winemakers association with all the liquor manufacturers in Manitoba. So he's basically like, we'd love your association to kind of, come together and whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So this is why it's on my mind, but I think there's a lot of organizations out there, especially with COVID, that can probably help you a lot more than you think. If you're not necessarily, reach out to your like chamber of commerce, and don't necessarily become a member, because I think that was one of my business tips in one of our first episodes, was don't fucking join that's how old people.
Don't join the chamber of commerce.
Well, join it if you see value in it, but don't just do it because that's what businesses do.
Yeah, don't do it because that's what your bank says.
That's an old person way of doing business. The reason why I used to join the chamber of commerce was to network. Now you can join a Facebook group and network with business owners. You don't have to join your chamber anymore. But maybe reach out to them and be like, hey guys, do we have any COVID supports right now? Like, is there any programs you're working on? Is there any, stuff like that? Like, just ask. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. There's organizations out there, associations that are looking out for you, and maybe they just don't know about you and your business. And that's why they haven't, maybe the Food and Beverage Association in your city, and you're like, oh, why haven't they reached out to me? Maybe they don't know about you. Like, just be like, hey, here's my problem right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if you guys have any advice or any help or anything. Maybe they know a guy.
And those people live to help people.
That's their job, yeah. So that's my piece of advice today.
Yeah. Mine would be give yourself an absurd deadline for something that you've been procrastinating.
So Tuesday, Wednesday next week, have me a fucking presentation on my desk.
I would entertain that, except I've already committed to writing master's applications with my girlfriend this weekend.
No, here's all I want for next podcast is a concept. That's it. No business plan, just a concept.
Okay.
And you don't have to commit to it.
Like, explain in under 3 seconds what your idea is.
What's your elevator pitch?
I've done elevator pitches. It's got to be shorter than that.
No, no, like elevator pitch is like 30 seconds.
I wish. It was like 60.
Is it really? That seems long. Because the entire name elevator pitch is you need to be able to explain it before you're done your elevator ride.
Yeah, so Winnipeg's small, so we rode the elevator to the top floor and then back down.
Yeah, I remember that.
From the top floor.
Yeah, the pitch.
From the top floor down and then back.
Yeah,
up.
the fucking elevator pitch competition was in an elevator.
Yeah,
It's
no,
pretty
which
funny.
is hilarious. You're standing in an elevator with 3 judges and 2 cameras. It was
Yeah, yeah.
fucking
That was
high pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Well,
one
which is-
one
that's the
person
whole-
like pressing the elevator buttons.
Yeah, that's the whole point, though, right?
It was fucking nerve-wracking.
supposed to be.
It was so intense.
It's supposed to be,
I
right?
nearly cried. To be fair, the business I pitched is a viable business and is like currently operating. The one that won was like solar panel highways. It's like
Why do highways need to be powered? Aren't they roads?
it was stupid on every level, but he won because it was like green.
They got to make the sustainable choice.
right.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw the video. It wasn't even a great pitch.
Yeah.
In terms of like, sorry, I shouldn't say it wasn't a great pitch. It was a good pitch, but like, it wasn't I wouldn't call it a business pitch.
Okay.
It's like, wow, this is a cool idea.
Yeah.
Period. Give yourself an absurd deadline for something that you think is out there beyond like, oh, I can't do that this year. Like, take something that's like 5 years and like do it tomorrow. Like, fucking clear your desk.
Are you just looking at me because I haven't taken out my trash and I've been meaning to for 3 days?
Yes.
My recycling bin is
Yeah,
filled.
Yeah, for most of you, it's write a business plan to raise some capital. For Willows, it's like clean your fucking room, bud.
It's fine. It's literally just dirty clothes on the ground. It's like pretty clean otherwise.
I've seen your clothes. Yeah, pick something that like your business really needs or your personal life
And do
really
it.
needs, and like something that you don't reasonably think you can get done.
Maybe
and,
you
like, and like
need a-
clear 8 hours on a Saturday and just
do it.
go fucking
work
ham on
towards
it.
Get a big titty goth GF in 8 hours.
Sure,
I love it.
that's my advice.
Okay, and then we'll see you on Wednesday, everyone, to hear Tyler's new business idea.
No, I'm gonna write master's applications to like 5 universities, and I'm gonna get into university twice without.
Perfect, and do it both.
And
at the same
I'm not
time.
gonna do shit. My girlfriend's gonna get into university.
Yeah, yeah.
But like,
No.
I'm gonna write.
Change the name last second,
Haha.
and then you go to university.
But I don't have a degree. I can't go into masters.
No, it's fine. They'll give it to you.
Okay.
Think unrealistically,
Okay. Get a bachelor's degree over the weekend and get a master's on Monday.
and then let us know on Wednesday.
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you for listening to Alcohol Beyond This Point, the podcast where we debate business topics or whatever the fuck we do. Just follow us on Instagram, Alcohol Beyond This Point. We have a Facebook too, but I'm not posting to it anymore.
Fuck you, boomers.
Boot doodaloo. Do.
Thanks for listening. This has been a good one. I think this is a good one. I think we got through some personal stuff, some interesting things, without getting too vulnerable or political or in the weeds or about history we don't know anything about. So, it's been good. It's been a good time. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you fucking do next week. You better.
I turned off the mic like 10 seconds ago.
Nice.
Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't 2 podcasters talking business. This is 2 business guys trying to podcast.